Hey y'all, it's Denise and it's Thursday morning. I'm in my studio getting ready to head down to my Liberty Station studio, but I wanted to pop in before I posted this week's video, which is a continuation of last week when I was working on the Venetian Plaster and kind of ran out of time to show you what I was doing with those pieces afterwards. They were just testers for me to try the Upscaled Plaster, which I loved. And I just kind of ran out of time. So I saved those for this week. But as I was editing, I realized that when I filmed those last week, the part I'm going to show you today, so many people were coming in and out of the studio down at Liberty Station. A lot of planes were going overhead. So I put it on time lapse and cut out the sound, thinking I would go ahead and do voiceovers, which I really hate to do. I like it to be more organic, happening in the moment. But I do have the videos pieced together, and I think I edited it down to about 15 minutes or so. So it should be pretty easy to see what I'm doing. The main thing is, working over the Venetian Plaster is really lovely. It's such a nice surface to work on, and not really any paint was used in this other than the paint that I mixed with the plaster last week when I was showing you the plaster going onto paper in Studio Session 154. So if you haven't tried the plaster, it's really pretty great. I like it a lot. Easy to color, easy to smooth on, really burnishes nicely, and it's lovely. So give that a try. Am I leaving anything out? I probably am, but enjoy the video this week. And oh yeah, I was hoping to get, I think I'm going to mat these pieces and frame them. And I ordered mats and frames. Well, at least I ordered the mats, and I didn't get them in time to add them onto this. So I may, once I get those in, do a quick video on how I go about doing that. So there you go. Enjoy your week, and enjoy the video, and I will see you again next week. Bye. Okay, so I've got a bunch of elements out of my little stash here. Got some cool labels off of a jelly jars from my son and daughter-in-law in France. And box top of a box of candies, actually from France. Just like that word give, that's part of a jelly print I think I was doing for transfers. And when there's words that I like, you know, text that I like, I sometimes use the actual text and I don't have it anymore. This one I've liked a lot, so and I've used it a lot, so I go ahead and make copies of it. And, you know, things I've written on canvas, just stuff, a ledger, part of a scrapbook page. I think I'm going to use this because that's kind of cool. Just pieces of paper that I enjoy, and a few of my favorite stencils. So let's do this. I want to once again take this off, because if I can, I'd like to keep that edge white. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. I'm going to put it on like that. And this is, like I always tell you, this is all experimentation. I'm not really sure how things are going to turn out, but that is the beauty of creating art. Art that feels good to you, that you're not looking over somebody else's shoulder. You're just playing and seeing what turns out for you. I like this a lot. So I'm going to get some things glued down on these pieces that I've created, and then come back and add more plaster over it. So for now, let's just come up. I don't really, I like the text just for the text aspect of it. I don't really need to have a lot more going on than just the text. I don't need it to say something. So I'm just doing a roller. I'm gonna have to use an old stencil brush for this. And I believe this is in French writing too. So I'm just gonna plop that right there. Okay, there's one. Just to make life easy, I'm going to do a little cut. It's probably better to wait till this is dry before I do that. Okay, I'm going to speed it up a little bit here as I lay more papers and stencils and details over the plaster up Venetian plaster finish that I started with. And if you missed that, head over back to last week's video, Studio Sessions 154, where I lay down the Venetian plaster and talk a little bit more about that. But for now, between the planes going overhead and people wandering in and out of the studio, I decided to just go ahead and put it on time lapse and continue my project to share with you. So there you go. Continue watching this. And once I get the papers laid down, the additional papers laid down, I'll go over it again with more plaster, and I'll show you that a little bit later in this video. Okay, so now I've done my first coat of plaster with the colors. I went back and added some details. Now I'm just going to go back over with a little bit more plaster here and there. And I think that's going to be it for now. Let me see how this turns out. Don't want to lose all those little checkers. Looks like I might though. But not a problem, because I can come back in later when this dries and add the checkers back, the grid pattern back in. Just want a little bit of white over here to lighten up this side. Maybe pull it over this way. And then, of course, nothing would be complete without adding Stabilo in. So maybe, let me try something. Oh, I have a little scraper here. Maybe I can pull some of that grid pattern out, which is even a more fun application. Now that I did that, then I can come back again on one side. And just do a light pull through that. Kind of like that. Oh yeah, I like that. Okay, then, nothing would be complete without Stabilo, of course. I want to get some of those little lines out of there that I don't need. And how do I want to, what's the application? I could go in and just draw a little line right in those little squares. And we know there's one laying down here somewhere. I'm not sure I love that, so let's do a little scrape over it. I like that much better. And then I want to come over here and add a dark line in right here, and maybe even outline this, that little label right there. You just kind of play with it as you go along. You see things and you just respond to it. I think I'm kind of liking this right now. Now, I'm going to do this same application to all of them. I have 8 small pieces. And then once the plaster is dry, I can come back and add any more details that I might want to do. So there's several applications and drying time to this that you'll need to be prepared for. And this is the kind of project that you can work on and set aside in your studio while you work on something else and come back to this, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing. And then I will also come back and clean up my white borders. However, I think that these little pieces will end up being framed and matted. Since they're on paper, I think that will be the perfect way to show them. And then I'll have some nice small pieces. This is a great way to get small pieces ready if you have a show coming up, or and you want to be able to show small pieces. I really like that. Really like how that turned out. Got to get my little tape edges out of here. And yeah, I think that's fun. Let me get this one laying out to dry, and when I get them finished, I'll show you the lineup. Okay, so here I am adding a second layer of plaster over the papers and the stencils and the details that I did in the last step. I really love plaster. I love playing with it. I love that I can add more color to it. I like that I can go in with a stick and add lines and gouges and more design details. And of course, who doesn't love ripping the tape off? I think I love that most of all. But anyway, these pieces were really fun to work on. I started out just wanting to do a couple testers with the Upscaled Venetian Plaster, and ended up continuing on, and now I have 8 little pieces of 9 by 12, I believe they are, which I will probably put into an 11 by 14 or a 12 by 16 frame. I'm not sure yet. And yeah, this is really fun. I think if you haven't tried using Venetian plaster, it just adds so much more depth and another element to your artwork. So I hope you'll stick around to the very end of this video so you can see how these pieces turned out. I'm really happy with the simplicity of them. I like the abstract, I like the line. I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. So stick around and see for yourself. So here is all 8 pieces in the group. I'm loving that I stuck with the same color palette because now I've got 8 pieces that could be purchased together, who knows, or one at a time. I think I will matte these and put them in a black frame. I think that will be really nice, and if I get one done this week, I'll post it and show you what it looks like. But let's just take a look at how each of these has turned out so far. And most of them can either be in the vertical or horizontal position, doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter that the text is going in one direction. It's completely up to you. Although you did see me work on them, and I was working on them in the horizontal orientation. So I'm pretty happy with how these turned out so far. I think I might go back to each one and add one more scrap of paper. It might be something as simple as a postage stamp. I've got some really great old stamped postage stamps, so I might do that. I'll see how I feel about it when I get back in my home studio. So there you have it. That is the conclusion of the video I did last week and this week using the UP Venetian Plaster. As you can see from these pieces, I decided not to add the vintage postage stamps, because it would give it a different feel, and I liked the simplicity of these pieces with just the plaster and a few details and some color added in. I was hoping to get the mattes in so I could add them to this video, but I ordered them and they're just not here yet. So when I do get them, I think I might do a quick video on how I finish these pieces off whenever I get them in the mail. So until then, thanks so much for being here as always, and hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and I'll see you here next week. Have a great week. Bye.